This is Jay Singh from ResponseiQ. I'm currently the head of marketing and growth here. Today we're going to have a look at how you can connect up your ResponseiQ account to your Google Analytics account. So our functionality actually allows you to send over custom events for all different interactions with the widget. Those get sent through to Google Analytics as custom events. And then in Google Analytics you can then set those custom events up as goals, and once you set those custom events up as goals, you can start to see which channels are driving the most engagement with your widget, whether you want to find out who's clicking on the widget icon the most, or whether you want to see which channels are actually driving the most calls. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is go into your settings in your ResponseiQ account. Actually, before you do that, you want to make sure that you actually select the right widget. So make sure that you have the right widget selected. For us today, we're going to use our Inkdesk widget. So this is the website where we're going to be connecting Google Analytics up to. You can see the widget is here on the bottom left. And so once you go into your ResponseiQ account, you want to click into your settings. At the bottom you'll find something called Google Analytics integration. Once you click into that, what you want to do is click edit, and you'll be asked for your Google Analytics tracking ID. Now where you can find this is if you go into your GA account, right at the bottom, firstly make sure that you've got the right property selected. So we can see here that it's the Inkdesk property for us, which relates to the Inkdesk website that we're connecting up. Bottom left, you just click on the admin, click on tracking info, tracking code, and you can see your tracking ID right here. So what you want to do is just copy that tracking ID all the way from the UA right to the last number after the dash. You can see we already have it here, but we'll replace it here for the sake of the example. Once you've done that, you'll need to select which events you actually want to send through to Google Analytics. So we advise that you actually send all the events through. Just because you send all the events through doesn't mean that you have to have goals for each one. You can then select which events you want to actually configure as goals. So after you've put in your Google Analytics tracking ID, you can just make sure that all the events that you want on are active. If you definitely don't want to record something, you can set it as inactive, and then at the bottom of the page you click submit. Once you do that, you've effectively connected your ResponseiQ account to your GA account. We can test this. So if we go into GA, we go into real time and events. So if I go to the website and click on the widget, open it, close it a bit, and then go back to the live events, you can see here that these events are now firing through. So you can see the event category is firing through as ResponseiQ, and you can see the different actions. So I clicked on the phone icon, and then I clicked on the close widget icon. So we know that those events are now pulling through to GA. Now the next step that you want to do is select which of these events are important to your business as goals. So if you look through the list, you can see that we have everything from when you click the icon all the way through to the total number of connected calls. The total number of connected calls will work the same way as it does in your dashboard, so a call will only be connected if it's more than 5 seconds. So this is basically the overall conversion that most people use as a goal to measure how many calls are being delivered from each of your channels. So let's go back here and configure a goal now. So if we click on admin again, and then we click here on goals, what you want to do is create a new goal. So the first thing it's going to ask you to do is in the goal setup, it'll ask you what kind of goal you're going to create. We're going to scroll down and choose custom. You're going to be asked to name the goal. So what you can do here, just to keep everything marked neatly, is let's have a look. What event should we set up? Let's choose the call now button clicked. So you can literally just copy the name across. You can name it whatever you like, but just to keep everything the same, I like to just use the name that's given to me on the ResponseiQ platform. So I always like to insert RIQ before it, just so the events are grouped nicely when I look down at my goals later. And then you're going to be asked what type of event you're setting up. So the type of event that we're setting up, the type of goal that you're setting up is an event. So you select event and click continue. Then it's going to ask you for 4 fields that you need to define, so GA knows what to look for when it's counting that event as a goal. So the category for all our events is ResponseiQ with a capital R and a capital Q at the end. And then for the event action and label, all you need to do is go into your ResponseiQ dashboard. You can copy the action directly from here. Just make sure there's no spaces below or after. And paste that in there. And for the event label, you do exactly the same thing, where you just highlight and copy the event label and put that into event label. Now you have a verify this goal button. If you're setting up your goals at the same time that you're connecting your GA and ResponseiQ account, it might come up with 0%, although it is connected. So what I would say advise is, if you're setting it up at the same time and it says 0, still save it, come back the next day and check that you have some conversions coming through. If you don't, then it might be that your event is named wrong, or maybe you've got the action or label named wrong, or maybe you've missed out some sort of capitalization here. Another thing to note is that we have equals to for all of these, just to make sure that it's only when exactly all 3 of these things happen that we're recording a goal. So at this point I'm going to click verify this goal, because I've previously connected up ResponseiQ and GA, and you can see here that it says 0.5% conversion rate, which means that this goal is appearing on the website. This event is being fired on the website, and I have set up the goal correctly. So now if I click save, that goal is now saved. Now if you remember earlier when I said it might not show you the verification as higher than 0% if you're doing it at the same time, when you come back the next day, just have a look at this number and make sure that it's above 0. So even though it said 0.5% before, when we check the event, because you're setting this goal up now, it'll only start to record conversions once you actually create the goal. So anytime that that criteria is met and the call now button is clicked, then it will record that as a goal. So that about summarizes it up for how to connect up your ResponseiQ account to your Google Analytics account, and also how to then set up a goal from there. The next thing that we look at in the next video is how to actually then take these goals, import them into Google AdWords, and use them as conversions. So then after that, you can start building your AdWords strategy around what's driving the most sales calls for you. Of course, if you have any questions or you're struggling with this, feel free to reach out to us on the live chat or via email, and we'll be more than happy to help you on that. Thank you very much.